chronic pain?
Living with chronic pain. It's, I think the worst thing is how you feel about yourself. Because you can't do the things that you used to take for granted. I mean, I know it's a running joke that, you know, when you drop something, you have to evaluate just how important that thing is in your life as to whether or not you really want to bend down to pick that thing up again or squat down to pick it up. But it's really like that. I mean, something falls on the floor, there's, you know, a good couple of seconds that lasts a really long time, you know, with an inhale and an exhale in preparation. Okay, this is going to hurt. You need to pick that thing up. And you do that. And I know it only happens in just 2 seconds or 3 seconds, but it happens. And that has an effect on you psychologically that shouldn't, you know? You see people all the time that aren't in pain, and it's like, oh, reach down and pick up that piece of paper or whatnot. And it's like, wow, you just did that perfectly normal thing without even thinking about it. And there's so much of an investment of preparation. I got to prepare myself for the pain I'm about to feel to do this perfectly mundane thing. And that in itself can seem paralyzing. It can seem, you know, like procrastination or something. And it's just that you know how much discomfort it's going to cause. And so you put it off forever. And I'm not just talking about, you know, that thing that you dropped. I'm talking about, yeah, I got to go cut the grass. Oh no. You know, that's gonna take the day. And not just how long it's going to take, but the recovery after. Because I'm going to be ruined by the time I'm done with that. You know, it's a task that'll take maybe 40, 45 minutes. And then the rest of the day is shot. You know, because I'm damaged. I don't even want to fix dinner afterwards. You know, and these are just regular daily things that ought to be taken for granted. But you can't when you're living with chronic pain. And that in itself is the big psychological problem with it, because you feel less.
Yes.
You know, I'm not as good as these other people that can just do these things. You know, I'm less. It takes more out of me, and then you doubt yourself, and you doubt your self-worth. And then that manifests in the mirror. You know, at the end of the day, you know, you've just been hurt so bad or whatnot, and you look in the mirror and it's like, yep, here's another day gone, and another day I look worse.
Wow. It's interesting because I work with clients with chronic pain all day long, and some people show it. It shows they're in pain. Other people don't. So it must be difficult because you don't, to the common person, if you just go into the store, you don't look like someone who's in pain. You don't look like someone who would have a mobility issue. You seem to be getting through really, really well, right?
But that's like, I don't want to look like that. I don't want to look like I'm this bad off as them. I don't want to look crippled. I don't want to look old. I don't want to look ugly. And so, you know, I don't know how much of that would be like manifestation, but I don't want to look that way, so I put on a pretty big front most of the time until I can't. And so then I don't go out in public for a couple of days or whatever, you know, 3 days, 4 days, whatever it is, you know, because, you know, if I can't get up from the chair very well, I don't want anybody to see me in a store. I just don't want to be perceived that way. Growing up, when I was a kid, my dad and I would be out somewhere, and he would always point out people to me that were going through something. You know, he always wanted me to count my blessings, and I always have. You know, it's that whole "there but for the grace of God go I." He always pointed that out. It's like, look at that person there. You know, you see what they're going through, so you should be grateful for, you know, not having to be that way. And that was a valuable lesson, of course, but at the same time, I don't want to look like those people that are barely getting by, or that are hobbling or walking along with a walker or anything like that. And that's just my own vanity speaking. But I guess what can I say? I'm kind of vain.
Right. And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. You have been to pain clinics, you've had nerve blocks, you do massage therapy, you've had acupuncture, you've had the gamut of pain relief and pain management. At the end of the day, it's a body-mind connection, right? How is your regimen for pain relief working for you?
It's not. I just do the best I can. I mean, at this point, I'm not on any kind of medication anymore. I was taking opioids, but I was very judicious in their use. They give me like a 30-day prescription, and I could stretch that out to 90 days or more, because I would only take one when I just couldn't put up with it anymore. When it was so bad that just a regular over-the-counter thing wasn't able to take the edge off so that I could function through the day, get something done. Then I would take one. So sometimes it was only like maybe once a week, maybe twice a week if it was a really bad, particularly bad time, that I would do something like that. So I spaced it all out. But now, the doctors have been really put on point to not be so laissez-faire about doling out opioids. And so now they're very strict about what they'll do and not. And I haven't wanted to engage in that process by saying, this is what I need or this is what I want. And so I just do without. And it takes its toll, and I'm much less productive.
Right, because of the pain.
And psychologically, it makes me feel less.
Of course, that makes sense. I have high respect for the fact that you have been consistent in massage therapy, even if it lasts 10 minutes after your session, only for 10 minutes, right? It's something that you take an active approach to nourish your skin, help the fascia, that sort of thing. And there are many times that I have seen you come in for a massage, get a massage, and leave with the same look, where at the end of the session, I go, I know that didn't do anything for him, but he still came, and I'm so glad to see you, and I'm glad you got your massage. And you're always so kind, but I could tell when the session didn't do you well, right? It just didn't work. And sometimes it just doesn't work. But that doesn't mean we should stop, right? Because there is some benefit to something, even if leaving, I can't put my ego on the line and go, man, I can't believe I'm not helping him. Like, what's going on here? But there is a thing to chronic pain, and there is a true identifier that sometimes even the best in the field can't relieve. And I just hand it to you because it takes a will to literally show up when you're like, man, I gotta get in the car, I gotta get over there and do it, and I doubt it's even gonna help me, but you stay in the game.
Well, I've never looked at you as a chore, so.
Thank you, friend. I appreciate hearing that, and my ego appreciates you, but
it's like, oh boy, I'm going to see.
Yeah, but thankfully you keep showing up, and you have the hope, and I think it's the hope that glows on you. It's the hope and the faith of, hey, I'm just doing what I can, that precedes your pain. So when you are out and about, I'm telling you, bro, you don't look like someone who's in pain. You don't have an auric of chronic dishevelment of being in pain about you that shows at all. So whatever the front is that you feel you might be putting up, I'm telling you, it could have fooled me, right? If I didn't know you intimately as your PT practitioner, I wouldn't know. If I just saw you out there, I would never know. And that to me, because I know, I have felt in my hand the nerve. I think I've expressed to you, like, wow,
Yeah.
what's your pain level? You're like, 12. I'm like, yeah, through my arm. It's going up my arm. I mean, I have literally felt your pain and had so much compassion for the nerve pain. It's unbelievable, the Perry. I felt you felt.
I was a little self-conscious when we were up in LA the other day. Me and my buddy Dave and Anelia, we were all three at the Natural History Museum.
Oh, nice.
Well, there's a lot of walking involved. And then when we were outside going through the rose garden, they were behind me, and I could tell that they were aware of my gait as I was walking along, that I was in pretty bad pain and everything, but I was still trying to keep up and keep marching along, but I could tell that they could tell, and that's why I say, it's like, sure, if you're only, you're not spending enough time with me, or you'd be able to see when the curtain slips a little and you can see behind it as to what's going on. I don't like it when the curtain falls a little bit and you can see behind those scenes.
I hear you. I hear you.
That makes me feel like one of those people that my dad would point out and say, see?
Oh, wow. Right. And that's why I feel we need more park benches and chairs open to the public around everywhere, even on our city streets. I see that all the time. I really feel that every neighborhood deserves public benches.
Sure.
But we don't have them. We don't have them enough. We don't have enough of them. And beautiful courtyards to just sit and rest. It's like, hey.
Well, it speaks to a higher problem with homelessness. That's what that is. There's a reason for that. That's why we've lost all those benches. We used to have them. They used to be around like that, but there weren't so many unhoused people at that time, and it was, almost a comic thing. It's like there's somebody sleeping on a park bench with a newspaper over them. Ha ha ha. Yeah, but now that would be the norm, and every single one of those benches would probably be taken up by someone camping out.
Wow.
So,
both of us, both populations have taken a loss with that. Then that's interesting. Very interesting.
Well, I think it's. I hate seeing the benches with the anti-homeless devices either built in or attached to them. Like ostensibly little armrests in the bench, just so somebody can't stretch out on it.
Oh, gotcha.
They're designed into it so you can't lay down on the bench anymore.
Oh, that's why it's there.
Yeah. or and that just makes me sad, because that's addressing a symptom of the problem in a negative way.
Sure. And at the end of the day, we need to take breaks with chronic pain. We need to take breaks.
Yeah,
we need to be able to sit down. No, I think it's a very big point that I made. But I mean, even sitting in this interview here, talking about it, I can see you're starting to fidget. I can tell that this position is ready to switch on you because something's happening. And I think that's another important point, is that everything's different with chronic pain. What is a nice comfy talk right here, we only get a certain amount of time because there needs to be a shifted position with pain, right?
I never knew what people meant by measuring your day with spoons full, or teaspoons. I never knew what that meant until it was explained to me, and I'm like, I know exactly what that means, and I never know how many spoons full I'm going to have in a given day. Right? And
Starting
it's like,
at your
you know what? It turns out that was my last one. I've got nothing left.
And it's 12 o'clock. I'm done. Clocking out. Yeah, right?
So.
For sure. I get that. I think this walking through and working with this series that we're going to do with addressing chronic pain, what it looks like to massage, you're going to share and allow us to allow others to see how I work on your chronic pain, your scars, the fascia tissue that needs to be handled, stretched, manipulated. And I'm very appreciative that you're going to show people with chronic pain that massage is very important for even on a mental, emotional level, which can then help the pain level. It really can. And what tissue manipulation can actually do to stretch the body, stretch the skin and the muscles that really tighten during pain. It's like it's like being in constant contraction.
Yes.
Literally, right?
Yeah. From an engineering standpoint, if you were going to equate this mechanically, the tension, the constant tension that the muscles are under to try and compensate. I mean, because your body's always trying to help you through things. Okay, that's its job. That's what it does. It tries to get you from point A to point B in the most efficient way possible. And when there's a failing somewhere, then it overcompensates in different ways. And usually the first things are, the soft tissues that really try to, take up most of that workload. And then they're overworked, and then there needs to be a problem. And I don't think that it should be discounted how important physical touch is between two or more people. Physical touch, and not just touching yourself, but having another person laying hands on you has a psychological effect that can't be duplicated. It's a necessary thing. We're social animals, and it's a very necessary part of our lives that I think a lot of people don't consider. I think that it goes neglected, and whether they live alone or they don't have anybody else, any kind of significant other or anything like that, and they're deprived of that sensation without even knowing it. And the body is always going to have that kind of muscle memory that, it needs to be touched, it's not being touched.
Wow.
So in that case, I think that massage is also important too.
Yes, thank you for saying that, because spot on, you're absolutely correct, which is why I'm so appreciative that even if you might believe that day it's not going to do anything, you still show up, because at least human touch is important.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it relieves you that day or not. And every day, it's a hit or miss sometimes when working together, because you just don't know how you're going to feel. But
some days are better than others.
That's right.
And you never know when that's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. I think this series is going to be very appreciated by a lot of people, because I think you're so authentic, man. I mean, you are just really honest, Abe. Yeah, not a lot of people can be themselves, okay? So I just really appreciate you being candid with us here today, Kevin. You rock it.
All right.
Right there. I appreciate you.